like and subscribe to this video. I'm trying to hit 30 subscribers before the college football season ends. The dynasty is over. Alabama, your dynasty is over. All good things must come to an end, sadly. And I'm not even an Alabama fan, and it sucks to see because I enjoy greatness and I enjoy Alabama. Uh, I want to look at a couple things here. I want to look at the secondary. I want to look at the quarterback, and I want to look at the coaching hires. So first, let's look at the secondary. Secondary just isn't your normal Alabama secondary. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a good corner. I don't think he's the best cornerback in the SEC, not SEC, the NCAA, but I do think he's a good number one corner. The second corner though, Terrion Arnold, he's not very good. If you remember last year, he got benched after getting torched against Tennessee, and he got torched against Texas A&M. If I'm not mistaken, after that Texas A&M game, they basically kind of pulled him and put in Eli Ricks, who was kind of in the doghouse last year. But yeah, Arnold isn't good, and they have to play him because the secondary depth it just isn't there at cornerback. Uh, Like they have players, but they don't have players that are ready to contribute right now, at least. And honestly, last year I was kind of out on the secondary, but after firing Pete Golden, who I think sucked and was a big reason why the secondary sucked last year, I was willing to give Alabama one more chance, one more season to show me, hey, this secondary improved and we've gotten better on defense. And I think they have gotten better on defense. But it's just still some pieces there that isn't Alabama defense. Now I want to talk about Jalen Milroe. Honestly, listen, I came into the season not high on Jalen Milroe. I thought Ty Simpson was going to be the starter. Tyler Buckner, I thought sucked. So I knew he was going to be at least second string. But I was not high on Jalen Milroe. When Jalen Milroe won the starting job, I was like, okay, I'm willing to give him a chance, willing to show uh, some improvements from the offseason. And honestly, he's shown little improvements, but no team respects him when it comes to throwing the ball. Texas did not respect him when it came to throwing the ball at all. And of course, when a defense doesn't respect your quarterback when it comes to throwing the ball, that defense will key in on the run. And that's exactly what they did. Now, second half, he was better than the first half. And I'm talking about the Texas game. In the first half, he was putrid. Second half, he was a lot better. He had that bad interception. He had a couple overthrows that was bad. But you can tell Texas didn't really respect Alabama's passing game, and it hurt them. And I mean, we look at Alabama teams in the past, basically kind of all their quarterbacks have been able to beat you with their arm. I didn't watch too much of the Blake Sims season. I'm not gonna lie, but I remember AJ McCarron being able to make throws when you needed him to. I remember Jalen Hurts being able to make some throws when he needed to. Now, ultimately, Tua was better than him, and it made him look worse as a passer. But I think he was a better passer than Milroe. Even though Milroe gets lots of Hurts comparisons, honestly, I just think that's because he's a black quarterback for Alabama that can run the ball. But I will say this, like Milroe isn't the passer that Bryce Young is, of course. It's hard to be that kind of passer. He isn't the passer Mac Jones was. He isn't the passer that Jake Coker was. And, you know, almost every Alabama quarterback, I'm not too sure about Greg McElroy. I was a kid when he was Alabama quarterback. I didn't start watching like literally until like his last season at Bama. I'm not too sure how good he was at throwing the ball, but it's like when teams don't gotta respect your quarterback throwing, it's much harder to run the offense. And my friends can attest for me. They probably listening. They can comment if they hear this part. I said during the offseason that if Milroe's the quarterback, that Alabama might be a three-loss team. They gotta play Texas. I had them losing to Texas. They lost to Texas. They gotta play Texas A&M and they gotta play LSU. Still got to play Auburn. I'm not really afraid of Auburn, but that's just a team I got to name. Um, because I said that because I didn't trust Milroe. Honestly, I didn't trust him throwing. I watched last year when he beat Arkansas. He beat them with his leg. Then no, he was terrible with his arm. So honestly, like I had kind of no confidence with Milroe being at quarterback this season. Now I don't know if Ty Simpson would be the answer. And we're only 2 games into the season, so things might change later on in the season. But honestly, the way it looked last year, the way Milroe's looked this year, I don't think too many things gonna change. And honestly, like I don't know if Ty's the answer. I heard Ty, whenever he misses a couple throws, he gets in his head. I don't trust Tyler Buckner. I think Tyler Buckner sucks. I don't know why they recruited him. Now I want to talk about really what kind of started the downfall of the Alabama Dynasty. Coaching hires. Nick Saban, when he hired Bill O'Brien and Ski Golding, or my bad, Pete Golding, it all kind of went downhill. Bill O'Brien would replace Steve Sarkisian, who, just beat Nick Saban. But Bill O'Brien was not a good hire. I don't know what Nick Saban was thinking. At the time, I thought it was a good hire. I'm like, they wouldn't miss a beat with Bill O'Brien. But they did. The offense was undisciplined. The blocking was terrible under Bill O'Brien. And honestly, like, he sucked as a play caller. I think Tommy Reese was a good hire, but he's not able to just overcome every obstacle that Bill O'Brien built in last year's offense and the past year's offense. And then we get on Pete Golding. Man, Pete Golding. He sucks. He sucked at Alabama. He sucked at Ole Miss right now. And it's crazy. Ole Miss, I thought it was a good hire. I laugh. I laugh at them. He's not good. He's not good. His defense was always undisciplined. I mean, we saw it against like LSU in 2019. We saw it against Florida in 2020. We saw it the championship year that they lost to Georgia in 2021, 2022. I forget. I think it was Texas A&M that blew them out. And well, they didn't blow them out, but they put up points against them. And then you look at like last year, Tennessee, uh, that happened. And if like last year, it seemed like last year their DBs was getting called for holding and pass interference a lot last year. And honestly, like this team just didn't look. I mean, the secondary and defense just didn't look good. Will Anderson was playing out of place last year. That really hurt him. Dallas Turner wasn't used to his right ability. Brian Branch wasn't used to his right ability. Malachi Moore wasn't used to his right ability last year. And the cornerbacks weren't used to their best ability last year on defense. I don't know what Nick Saban can do to like right the ship. Now, of course, they are out of the college football playoff race, but man, it's not looking great, honestly. Maybe they make some changes schematically and change some things that help them, but honestly, like, I don't really trust them no more. Sadly, I don't trust them no more. Uh, they got LSU later on this season, and I mean, LSU, they just lost to Florida State last week, or I guess maybe like the week before, depending on whenever you're listening to this. And it hurts because they can't lose to LSU. They can't lose to Texas A&M this year. They can't afford to drop no more games, and they just might because this team's just not up to par of past Alabama teams.